Good morning. Happy Saturday, everyone. This is Candid Conversations with K and K. I am Kimberly Coleman, aka Sister Girl Speaks. Right next to me is the lovely lady in blue. Is that blue you got on this morning? Purple?
It's purple, honey.
Purple. The color of royalty. So we bow down to Queen K Renee this morning.
Oh
How are you
no.
doing today?
Well, back at you, Queen Kim Coleman. See, we're equal queens up in this place. I am good, and guess what? Today, being the fourth Saturday in April,
Mhm.
for those who are in the Chicago area, y'all better get out, but be cool about it. No, I don't want no shenanigans or foolishness today because it's supposed to be in the 80s today. So y'all just, keep it under the. If you gotta keep it on the down low, keep it on the down low. We don't want no foolishness today.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, the hometown is being safe. We are doing well here in Oklahoma City. We are at 83 degrees. Yesterday it was 86, but as
Wow.
people here know, it could be a snowstorm. In fact, some of the
Yeah,
areas in America are experiencing snowstorms,
I
and
know.
not too far from where my parents. Well, far from where my parents live, but close enough, they are experiencing fires in Prescott and Sedona, I believe. So let's
And that
please, as, go ahead.
no, I heard in New Mexico as well. So I'm like, what's up with
Right,
that?
right. There's a lot of stuff as we continue to pray for Ukraine, but understand there's a lot of things that are going on here in the good old United States of America. And so
Yeah.
we keep all of everyone in prayer. It's never dull. Life is a journey, and things will continue to roll and go on. But we here want to bring you some hot topics. We have a special guest who will be joining us late. Go ahead.
Before we get started, we were remiss last Saturday, and why should I have been remiss? But last April 15th, which is the typical tax day for all of
Mhm,
us, but a special man came into this world April 15th,
mhm,
1922, excuse me. And he was a congressman, but he was the first African American mayor of your hometown, my hometown, Chicago. The late, great Harold Washington celebrated his heavenly centennial birthday on April
mhm,
15th. And I said to you privately, but I'm going to say it publicly. My maternal grandfather had always said to me, we related to Harold Washington. So I got to do some my research and find out. Because if that is the case, I'm going to spread it like nobody's business. But in any respect, happy centennial birthday, heavenly birthday to Mayor Harold Washington. I know you have stories about Harold. I had a chance to meet him once, but one thing I always loved about Harold was he was so articulate. You heard that. I mean, it's been notorious. They had council wars with Eddie
mhm,
Verdoliak and Ed Burke,
mhm.
and he would make comments to them. They literally had to look up in the dictionary, and it cracked me up. I said that, see, you can't mess with this man because he knows a lot. So we miss him. Unfortunately, Harold left us on Thanksgiving weekend in 1987, but his memory, his legacy continues. We have the Harold Washington Cultural Center here in
Mhm,
Chicago. We have the Harold Washington uh, College, junior college downtown. There's just
mhm.
so much that history regarding our wonderful first African American mayor here, the late great Mayor Harold Washington. So happy centennial birthday, Mayor Washington. We still celebrate. We're gonna celebrate until the 30th. So we wanted to bring that.
There would be no Barack Obama
Thank you. If it
without
wasn't
Harold
for Harold,
Washington.
that's right.
Um, his Harold uh, President Obama's chief strategist, whose name just I just lost just in this second,
Was it David
um,
Axelrod?
David Axelrod.
Yes.
So David Axelrod tells the story about how hard it was to get white voters to vote for Harold Washington.
Yeah.
And for those of us who are familiar with Chicago, there is a side there, the lakefront,
Mm-hmm.
that lakefront area. that Harold Washington lost by a very large percentage. Only nerds will really get this, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And David Axelrod tells the story about how after the 2008 election, he looked at that same area,
Mm-hmm.
and Obama won that by 70%.
Wow.
And he said it was so, those of us who are from Chicago who understand the dynamics of that race, with
Mm-hmm.
Democrats going over to Epton only
Mm-hmm.
because he was white. Because it used to be a time, and it still is like that now, where if the
Hello.
Democrat got won the primary, they automatically won.
Right.
But everybody wanted to go for Bernard Epton. You know why? Because his slogan was "Before it's too late." I remember that
Right. Oh,
whole
I
election.
remember that. I remember that.
And David Axelrod said when he saw that section that it voted against Harold, that now overwhelmingly voted for Obama, he said Harold is still working. Harold is still working. So
I
yeah.
think he would have been
Oh
so proud. I would, it's just like the historical meeting between Dr. King and Malcolm X. I really think had Harold Washington still been alive, he would have said, "Okay, now I'm really going to pass this torch to you. Now do me justice. Don't do no craziness." Which, and of course President Obama has, but it would have been nice for Harold
yeah,
lived to see President Obama be the first African American president of the United States. But he laid the groundwork for
he
Barack,
did.
and I'm
And
sure
and
Barack
yeah,
will give him his kudos. And I think
he
and I know
does. In
he
Dreams
has.
of Our Father, he does. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure about the other book that's 900 pages. God bless you, President Obama. I don't, he's a a professor. So, and he got another book coming out. I'm like, Barack, you're
Well,
killing me.
and guess what today is? Today is World Book Day. So while y'all
Okay.
out in the streets, and y'all could be out in the streets today, have a book. Because when I leave here, I'm gonna have a book with me. So reading is definitely fundamental. And so today is World Book Day. So while you're doing things, read a book.
But well, let me recommend a book that I haven't
Uh-oh.
read yet.
Here we go.
And she has an interview on Netflix with Oprah Winfrey that I listened to this morning, and it is a must see. Oprah picked Viola Davis's book for her book club of the month, and the interview was riveting. It was riveting. So I can't say enough about that interview. If you have Netflix, check it out. Netflix, which happens to be losing a large amount of people, subscribers, this last month.
And they've countered by canceling some shows, but
Yeah, yeah,
companies going to go through ebbs and flows. So Netflix is, I mean, they're, to me, a very powerful streaming service. They have great programming,
great
great
programming.
shows, and they're very diverse. When Shonda Rhimes inked that deal with Netflix, she wasn't playing. And that's
Yeah,
one thing I can appreciate about Netflix. If they see good talent, they will do what is necessary to do right by that individual. So, I heard that too. And I said, well, it happens with companies. You're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs.
and I think people are, because of the inflation, people are looking at
Mhm.
their budgets going, 1099 may not seem like a lot of money, but if you keep 1099, 1099, 1099, or however much Netflix costs, that can build up, especially for a family of four. And then you want to get Hulu, and then you want to get this.
I
Like
know.
I want to watch Courtney B. Vance's new show,
61st
51st
Street.
Street.
61st Street,
And there's
right.
another,
That's
and then
AMC. So,
right, and then I wanted to get watch Viola on Showtime. That's
mhm.
another. So these things, somebody needs to come up with a bundle of this, and I guess you can do it on your Roku stick or whatever. What is that? Fire stick.
Roku, Fire
But it's
Stick.
still,
Yeah.
it's cheaper than cable, but it's
You ain't
still a
lying.
lot of
Well,
money.
but remember back in the day, talk about cable. Remember On TV? Do you remember that? Before cable became, Comcast and DirecTV. Here, I remember this because we had a box, and quiet as it's kept. My parents are no longer here, so I can say this. Late at night, I would go downstairs
Oh
and
yeah,
turn the
yeah, yeah,
TV
yeah, yeah,
on, and like, "Ooh, I
yeah,
saw
yeah,
some
yeah,
stuff that I wasn't supposed to be seeing."
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah,
all
yeah.
I'm gonna say on that
I
subject.
remember that. I remember that.
So,
But
um,
TV should be, especially as we talk about these times of pandemic. I remember when they started doing the box, because now you can't do an antenna.
right.
And they were talking about the number of senior citizens that would be isolated because, some people live alone and that was their only way to the outside world.
I know.
And I guess this has been fixed hopefully during the pandemic, but not everybody can afford this stuff. And
No.
it just has to be, people need to think about affordability for some of these things, even when we're talking about apartments and food,
I know.
just basic living things,
Well,
looking at rent now and food and Jesus.
well,
it's
before we
just,
even talk about our guests talking about money, guess what today is? Today is the 30th anniversary of the Powerball. Talking about
is it
money.
really?
It sure is. And tonight, folks, all you gotta do is play a ticket, right? You gotta play. Can't win if you don't play. The jackpot is over 400 million. So how cool it is. Powerball celebrates number 30, and the jackpot is over 400 million. So, you know, the question always is asked, if you were blessed to receive that much abundance, what would you do? So I'm going to pose it to my podcasting sister. If you were blessed to receive that abundant amount of money, what would you do?
you know um I don't know. I would try to bless people. I would
Okay.
travel. I would
Okay.
travel and bless as many people as I could. Um, I had a cousin who won, and Jay Nicole, I see you down there. Give me 1 second as I finish this thought. Who won $5 million, lived in Gary, Indiana, now lives in
Mhm.
Vegas. And he said when he won that money, he sat in the middle of the floor and cried because what he realized is that most of what he was worrying about, he didn't have to worry about anymore.
Mhm.
And it's a very and I understand exactly what he means. It's a
Mhm.
very overwhelming feeling when you
It
don't have
is.
to worry about money anymore. But I will
Absolutely.
say this about my cousin. It's been almost 30 years.
Yeah.
He is still living off the interest. He took him and his girlfriend and moved to Vegas. They built one house. He has a landscaping business. She went back to school to get her bachelor's and master's degree. And he's still living off the interest, even though he's crazy as a road lizard. So he's doing that. He is. He is. He
But
just he
see,
just
and
is.
we need to probably, I'm sure we can talk to Jay Nicole about this, about manifestation. We're going to be talking with her shortly about but mindset. Like your cousin, I think and to be fair, people, what would you do, Carrie? There, I know exactly what I do because I've already had it in my mind. I've
Oh yeah,
written it
we've
down.
had this conversation.
First, I would give honor and praise to God. Then I would be on the floor. I would be crying probably for 30 minutes. And then, like you, I would establish scholarships in my parents' name, definitely help others. But my family, and they know who they are, they will be blessed beyond measure.
Well, let's try to talk about manifestation in that
Yes.
area. We're going to bring on our special guest, my one of my acting coaches, and it is J. Nycole Ralph. Good morning.
Good
Good
morning,
morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Nicole.
And
Happy
she
Saturday
is one
to
of
you.
she is one of the top 2% actors in the industry and a certified life coach, theater career, entrepreneurial coach. J. Nycole Ralph loves helping other actors and entrepreneurs. She has a manifestation program that I'm in right now. She has helped me maneuver some of my acting career, be using her more in the future. Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm wonderful. Thank y'all so much for having me. I feel honored and blessed to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And she's also a Broadway actress on one of the most famous shows, The Book of Mormon. She's on there, and hopefully one day I'll get to New York to see her. You're coming to us from New York, am I correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, great. NYC, the Big Apple. So, talk to us, Kay. I mean, sorry, all these things, Jay, Nicole, about what is manifestation?
Sure, sure. So it's so interesting. Most people think that manifestation is like this magic conjuring or figuring out how to create something. And I mean, in a sense, it is. It's mastering the law of attraction to be able to bring into your life whatever it is that you want to bring in. That, and that is magical. That is a conjuring, if you will. But what does that mean? What is it really? And it's simpler than, like, the magic is really simple. And what I've learned from one of my coaches, one of my teachers, if you will, Jonathan England, about what the trick of manifestation is, or simply what manifestation is that it is making obvious that which is already there. That's what manifestation is. And I'll try to be brief and tell you a quick story of what that means. Like, so, we all know the story of the Wizard of Oz, right? We
Yes.
know
Mhm.
the story of the
I was
Wizard of
just thinking
Oz.
about that.
And it's a really great metaphor for life. And I could break down the whole story and break down each character, but I'm gonna focus on the lion right now. And the lion, he was on a search for courage, right? He was like, I want to have courage. I want to have courage. So that was his prayer, is I want courage. And so what happened on his journey? He got faced at a point on their journey where the flying monkeys came and attacked him and his friends, and the lion had to man up and protect his friends and himself. And it just revealed that the courage was there already. The courage was there all the time. He had to man up. Like, so it wasn't that he needed to find courage, or that he needed to go to the wizard and magically the wizard was going to bless him with courage. Like, it was already there. He prayed for courage. And so God sent him flying monkeys, and the flying monkeys revealed that the courage was already there. And so for me in my life, that has looked like just an example of that is, I remember I was doing a show for a long time, and I was comfortable in the show. I was making good money, and it was a great show. And I was like, you know what? I'm comfortable. I want to be able to not have to stay here for the paycheck. I want to be able to leave and do other shows or pursue other pursuits, and be able to be picky about the shows that I want to choose. But I'm here now because I'm comfortable, because this paycheck is nice. And so I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? And I still got but I was still comfortable, right? And so I prayed that prayer. What happened? The pandemic happened. That means the show got taken away. I no longer had this show. I no longer had this comfortable paycheck. And I had to create for myself something to be able to sustain me. And that's where turning my coaching into an actual business and being able to sustain myself on that during the pandemic. It was already in me to be that creator, to create that sustainability, to manifest the business, to manifest the money without having to rely on a show, a comfortable job, even the government, because unemployment stopped. You know what I mean? So that is manifestation.
That's great. Kay, did you have a question?
I know in looking at your website, which is phenomenal, by the way, I absolutely loved it. What made you decide to be a life, career, and entrepreneurial coach? Because that can be a very cliche. Everybody is doing it, but what made you to say, okay, this is truly my passion and my calling? Besides, of course, the acting, which you're obviously great at as well. But talk to us about that aspect of J. Nycole.
Sure. So this was another point in my life where I was at a rock bottom. I had plateaued in my career, and I actually took a break from my career. And then I started dating this man, and we built a theater company together. But it was an abusive relationship. And so then my family rescued me from almost dying in this abusive relationship. And it was at that point in my life that I started to basically fight for my life, and couldn't even go to sleep without PTSD taking over and me seeing this man trying to lay hands on me. And so it was in those nights where I'm laying awake with my eyes open, like, God, why am I here? What is this purpose? Like, why? Like, I know that there's more for me. I know this is not my destiny. I know that this is not what you have for me. What is happening here? And so I started to then begin to meditate and to look for help. And I started looking at audios and YouTubes and going to seminars and self-help seminars, and looking at different coaches to possibly work with, even though I didn't have the money to work with a coach, because I didn't have a job and I didn't have income coming in. But eventually I started working with a coach, even though I didn't have any money. I started working with that coach on faith and on credit. And working with that coach, he helped me to realize that even in that state, even in that place that I was in, I still had so much to give. And so at that point is when I first started teaching other actors and theater performers. And so fast forward later, it was kind of like a side thing that I did during as I got back into my acting career. Things started to pick up as I started working with that coach. Things started to pick up. That's when I finally booked Broadway and things. And so I was still teaching and coaching other actors and performers on the side. But then as I was working with that coach years later, like probably 5-6 years later, the coach was like, what you're doing with your actors, you're not just teaching them about acting. You're literally life coaching them. You should probably just go ahead and get certified in life coaching. I was like, no, that's not what I want to do. Actor, like, blah, blah, blah. And that came up a couple times. And so finally I was like, okay, you know what? Might as well just add a certification. You know what I'm saying? And so it was right. I started training to become certified in life coaching. And right after I made that decision is when the pandemic hit. And I was like, oh, so now I'm going to have to actually focus on this because I no longer can focus on my acting, and none of my clients can really do acting right now anyway. So I started focusing on this training. I got my certification in life coaching. During the pandemic, I also got my certification in theta healing. And people just started coming to me, asking me for help. And so I was like, oh, this is the right direction. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's kind of how it happened.
And in that vein, J. Nycole, can you describe your most challenging client? And how were you able to turn that individual to now where that person is thriving?
Yeah, sure. So I had a super emotional client, a person who came to me. He had been diagnosed with a brain disorder, had so many ideas, was super talented, but had tried so many things, so many different directions, and they just didn't work out, if you will. And she just really didn't know what to do or what direction to go in. And so she came to me. She was one of the people that came to me for help. And because I had gifted her with a complimentary session with me. So she took me up on that offer, and we sat and talked on the phone. And it came down to helping her to make a decision that she can take control of her life, that she can decide I am no longer going to live the way that I have been living. I'm going to draw my line in the sand, and I'm not going to go back. And I'm deciding, even if I don't know how, even if I don't know what to do, even if I don't know, it's the act of making a decision. And so we were able to get her to the place where she decided, I am no longer going to live like this. And so, and when you do that, that's when God shows up. That's when the universe conspires to allow to make things happen for you to make the path clear, to give you the steps, to send you the person. And also she made the decision that I'm going to get the help I need, because I'm making this decision, but I don't know what to do. I don't know how it's going to happen, and I need help. And so she makes, similar to me back when I was in despair going through that PTSD, made a decision. I'm going to change my life. I have the power to do so, but I need help, and I'm going to get the help. And so she decided to start working with me, and that's exactly what happened. Like, I held her hand through the process of getting clear on what it is that she did want to do, and what direction and what path to go and the steps to take. And then things started coming up, and fears and feelings and doubts and stuff in life, and I held her hand through that and dealing with that and how to process all those things. And we're still working together, but she came to me, she was working at an office job and just was not fulfilled. And like I said, came to me with just very, very emotional. And now she's no longer at this office job, but she's performing at a theater every week. And
wow.
yeah. And it's just amazing to see the transformation, what can happen when you make a decision, because things just started happening. Like the path became clear. It started becoming very clear what direction she was supposed to go in. Opportunities just started coming, and similar to her, the manifestation happened. Like, her job ended, that office job, that comfortable office job ended, and it was like, okay, I gotta figure something out, and she did, and I'm so proud of her. So that would be the one.
Hey.
When I don't know if you heard, if you logged on early enough, Nycole, about Viola Davis and how she manifested her husband, and also
No.
really manifested her career as an actress. If you get a chance, watch that interview that she does with Oprah on Netflix. For
Okay.
those of us who are in this industry, it's very encouraging, because she doesn't look like what people think. She's not the Holly Berry or the Kerry Washington, but she went out on faith and talent.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I wish I had written it down. Manifestation is really about your prayers with courage,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because you have the courage to think you can do something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the courage to go out and do something.
Mm-hmm.
So when I thought about entering this acting field at the age of 53, I had people saying to me, girl, you need to keep your job and do. And I was like, no, God has put this in me, and I'm going to act out on it. So, in the vein of that, Miss Ralph, I'm in your program right now, trying to keep up with the assignments. Lord, I should get a PhD.
You gonna get a super
I,
blessing, girl.
I log on to Facebook, look at birthdays, and Nycole has tagged you. I'm like, oh my Lord, let me get my notebook. So tell everybody a little bit about the program and a couple of the assignments that you have us doing at the beginning of the program.
Sure. Yeah. It's still open for people who want to join us. Right now we're doing the Abundance Challenge, and it is a $497 challenge, but right now I have opened it up to the public to be free, to be complimentary. So if you want to join us, you absolutely can. Just hit me up on Facebook or my email, Nycole Ralph at gmail.com.
You'll be hearing from me, Miss Nycole. Trust me.
Okay.
And there's a website for those that want to log in, but go ahead.
Yeah. So what the Abundance Challenge is the purpose is to bring more abundance into your life, to help you to decide what does more abundance in my life look like, because abundance looks different for everybody. Some people that's more money, some people it is better relationships, some people it's more bookings, some people it is just living a higher quality of life. So what does abundance look like for you, and how do we bring more of that into your life? And so what the crux of the program is making small little habit changes in your habits on a daily basis, because it's these small little changes in your habits that are going to make a difference in your life long term. That's going to make it. Think about if you are going on a journey, a literal journey, like on a map, right? If you're going in a specific direction and you make just a slight adjustment, like if you were going in this direction, but down here you make a slight adjustment, and now we're going in this direction. Up here, we're in a completely different place. That's a huge difference than if I had stayed and went like this, right? Huge, but it was just a small adjustment. And so we're making these small adjustments that you can make on a daily basis. So some of those things that Kimberly was talking about are doing a short meditation every day. We're doing a short meditation every day. We're writing out 5 things we're grateful for every day. 5 things we're grateful for.
Love it.
One of them being something that you haven't yet manifested. So you're grateful for it in advance. You're having the faith and the trust that it's coming. So you're saying that. Another one of the things is affirming out loud that which you're grateful for every day. I have specific written affirmations that I've given everybody that you're affirming every day. Another one is visualizing, or we have what we call our mind movies. So we're like watching the vision take place in front of our eyes. So those are just some of the things. There's a lot more, but I wanted to give you a taste.
Jay Nycole, I mean, I can't wait we're going to meet, because so when you're with like-minded individuals, things just happen. And, the thing that you mentioned about small, I like to call them baby steps. Yes. Because when something is magnanimous and just so overwhelming, and I give a great example. I wrote about this earlier this week. I had knee surgery 4 years ago. And at the time when I was working for a major automotive company, they were giving us going to Europe for a conference. When I had to have this surgery, my surgeon said, "Karen, you're not going to do this. You're not going to make it." I said, he don't know Karen Renee. Because when Karen Renee put her mind to something, it is done. I understood the assignment, did the work, and I was in Europe with looking just as fine. And not only in Europe, I went to Rome to kind of kick it. But see, I tell people you must do baby steps. So I cannot wait to meet you, Miss Jay Nycole. Oh my goodness.
I told you she was fabulous, fabulous. I know that an actress, in fact, I have some stuff to do today as an actress. I know that an actress job is on Saturdays, it's very busy. We have one more question for you, Kay Renee. Go ahead, and then we're going to let you go and give out your information.
Well, first of all, Jay Nycole, thank you. This was not by accident, because that's just God's way of, there's no coincidence that you're here. That's God's way of being anonymous. So thank you so much for being who you are, being that sister of faith, of courage, of spirit, of just all that and then some. But I'm going to ask you, who inspires you to be the absolute best Jay Nycole this universe has ever seen?
Okay, so I'm going to say who my motivation is first, and then who inspires me, because those two different things. My mother motivates me. Mm-hmm. My mother, and all the sacrifice. She's no longer with us, but just all the sacrifices she made for me to be where I am today. Specifically, like, it was not a thing for people to pursue the arts where she came from, but she saw it in me, and she was like, "I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna take her to these dance classes, and I'm gonna do extra work, and I'm gonna take her and make her send her to the nationals in New York City, and like all the things. I'm gonna send her to the acting school in New York City when she's a teenager for summer, and like so many sacrifices." So my mother motivates me, just making sure that her sacrifice is not in vain. Inspiration, though, has to be like my different teachers and coaches, and a lot of the speakers and authors that I listen to, and even some other actors. Many of those people happen to be friends of mine too, and I wrote a little list. So people like Miro Hayink, Ebony Janice Moore, Jolie Dawn, Amanda Francis, Danielle Leslie, Christine Horn, Chadwick Boseman, Stefan James, and I could go on, but those are just some of the people that came to mind first that inspired me.
Oh, that is
Awesome.
wonderful.
That's awesome.
Well, when
Well,
we come
I
to
can.
when we come to New York, can we come visit you?
Please,
All right.
yes.
All right. All right.
The last time I was in New York, I didn't get a chance to. I was running around and everything, but next time I'm there. I hope to get there in September to see piano lesson with Samuel
Nice.
Jackson and
Are you both?
David Washington. I'm sorry.
Yes. Are you
Yeah.
both in Texas?
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Are you both in Texas?
No,
I'm in
actually,
Oklahoma.
she's in Oklahoma, and I'm from Chicago.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Jay Nicole, I have your website up. She is an acting coach. She is a manifestation coach, a life coach. Are you still doing the Clubhouse um, class? Okay. That's where I first met her. And a bunch of other people who have helped me try to budding this career. She is on Instagram. You can get all the links on that website. Is there anything else you want to plug right now?
No, just join us for the Abundance Challenge. The best place actually is to find me on Instagram because I don't think I have the Abundance Challenge up on my website anymore. But find me at Instagram at Nycole Ralph on Instagram, and all of that information is there. And if you can't find it for some reason, just DM me.
Okay. Well, thanks so much. We hope to have you back. Good luck. Break a leg in all that you're doing right now.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to be calling you soon about some things that I have going on. So, yeah. Thank
And
you.
can't wait to meet you. I owe Kim one first, but when I come to New York, if I get the chance, I bake the best sweet potato pies. Payla ain't got nothing on me, so
And I'm still waiting on.
so I gotta get her pie first, and once I get her pie, you got one coming.
Yes, yes. Well, Kim, thank you so much for inviting me. Karen, it's so nice to meet you.
Oh,
Yes,
many blessings to you. Okay.
Kindred spirits. Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right. Have a wonderful Saturday and be blessed.
Bye,
Thank
sweetie.
you. Bye-bye, y'all.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
Yeah.
I
That
see
was great.
that's meditation and inspiration all in one
Yeah.
packet, Kim.
Yeah. So I
Oh
hope
my
that you all enjoyed that. That was Jay Nicole Ralph. I hope I
goodness.
didn't ban her from this. I don't know what I did there, but anyway, hopefully I worked that out. It's a little difficult working all these buttons, y'all, but I'm doing it, and
She's doing it. And again, baby steps, okay? Baby steps.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, hopefully okay. But I just want everybody to know, Jay Nicole talked about that story with the lion from Wizard of Oz. My favorite story from the Wizard of Oz is when Dorothy asked the witch of the east, the west, or whatever, how can I get home? And the good witch, Glinda the good witch, said to her, click your heels. You could click your heels 3 times and say, I wish I was home. Oh, there's no place like home. And she says, that's all I had to do. And she says, yes, she said, it was always in you. So there's something inside of you that you want to do. And Denzel says this, when God puts a dream in you, he doesn't do that accidentally.
Yeah.
You already have the tools to do what you need to do. So, as Glinda the Good Witch told Dorothy, you always had it within you. You just had to find it, or maybe reach out for the other tools to give it to you. So, when we talk about going to therapy, when we talk about prayer, when we talk about meditation, those are the tools that you use to manifest the life that you want. There is a type of life that I want. I have designed it in my mind, and I am going after it right now. It's not easy. It is difficult. It is hard. There are times I get knocked down. I had a big knockdown a few weeks ago. But I know that what God has for me is for me. Anything else you want to say on that, Kay?
No, I mean, again, I like when we converse with like-minded individuals. When she talks about small steps, again, I've always said to people, when you have something big, You've got to take baby steps. You can't, when you see an elephant, how do you bite an elephant? One bite at a time. Just like the elephant is your goal, right? I mean, our dear friend Cheryl Grace talks about that. You know, you've got to be able to, everyone has goals and dreams. And I actually, my nugget is kind of tied to our topic of today. But the one thing I love about J. Nycole is her passion, her she's just committed to helping others. I mean, that's what this show is about. That's why we decided when Kim asked me, I said I want to be able to speak on topics that a lot of us are nervous about, but it needs to be discussed. So I truly hope all of you have that opportunity to enjoy J. Nycole. Please support her in her initiatives on social media, because she is, as we always like to say, she the real deal.
Yeah. Well, I know that we have many celebrity birthdays that come and go, but there's one that I have to acknowledge,
Oh,
and that is happy 72nd heavenly birthday to the voice,
oh
Luther
yes.
Van Dross, or however you want to call him. We have lost many singers over the past few years. We just commemorated Prince being gone 6 years.
6 years.
Whitney, Michael, James Brown, Aretha Franklin, who to me is the greatest voice of all.
Mm-hmm.
But I never got to see Aretha in concert.
Neither have I.
6 times. And
Okay.
each time was an experience.
Yes.
Each time was, and the funny thing about it was I remember going to Essence Fest, and I remember watching people who had seen him perform for the first time. A house is not a home. And I remember this one guy, he got up and he was like, damn. And that man walked out and never came back. Because Luther was saying, and he would, and geez, I mean, Luther was
No,
something.
that you not talk
Luther,
about a Luther experience. One of my dear friends, who's of Filipino descent, he went with me to a Luther concert. Who also was showcased with Anita Baker, and he had never,
oh, I
he's
remember
heard
that
of
concert.
Luther, but never, experienced what I experienced. He was watching me just kind of get into it. He said, Karen, I didn't know you were like that. I said, see, this is what Luther do to you. But no, you're right. And of course, all of us who are of a certain age who know and just love Luther. I played Luther all day that day,
Yeah,
and then some next day. I'll probably
yeah,
listen to Luther again. And
yeah.
he was just, when you talk about the voice, the smooth, and then when he has such a range from the lowest to the low, the
Mm-hmm.
falsetto to the highest of the high, and just and
Mm-hmm.
all in between. So, happy heavenly birthday, Luther. Of all my
Yeah.
favorite songs, of course, Never Too Much, Stop to Love, but the one song for me that has so much meaning, because he's no longer with me, is Dance with My Father.
Oh
When
yeah.
I
Yeah.
first heard it after my father transitioned, I couldn't listen to it because it just
Yeah. Yeah.
was so painful. But of course, as
Yeah.
time heals, I can listen to it and just smile, knowing that my dad is smiling with me, and in
Yeah.
fact, I remember dancing with him to that song before he
Mm-hmm.
passed. So, as I said, Luther, for those who don't know about Luther, you missing out a whole lot.
And if you go back and look at those YouTube clips, and there's many of those that you can see, you
Mm-hmm.
see the women with the gowns, Lisa Fisher, and those.
Mm-hmm.
Luther designed those gowns. He designed those gowns. He was a consummate professional.
Yes, he was.
And if you look, I went with that same Essence, and the Essence didn't have that sound together. The diva came out in Luther. He did not like that because he
No.
said on Oprah, people have paid a lot of money to come and see my shows, and they deserve the best. Um, K. Renee talks about his ballads, and of course, I love those standards. But my jam is I can make it better. And when they performed that on stage, it was like, it was, I miss you, Luther. I
We
really
all miss
do.
you. We do. And you know,
Yeah.
you mentioned a few moments ago, on the 21st, we lost another legend. We lost Prince. And
Yeah.
I'm still wearing
Yeah.
purple. And I'm gonna tell you, I know exactly where I was. I said,
Yeah.
where were you when
Yeah.
Prince passed? I was
Yeah.
working. I was, I saw it on my, news alert. I said, this can't be. And actually, I was working on an audit. And the
Mm.
chief compliance officer of the automotive company I used to work for, and I mean, this little white man was short as all the world. Do you hear me? Everybody was scared of him. I mean, literally, folks were like just nervous. Folks like that don't bother me. But what I had said, he had come in our office and I said, Prince died. Do you know that man was like, what? Prince? And I said, I had to do a double take, like, you like Prince?
We take such ownership of our legends because we think it's just us. And
Yes.
there was a couple of things that I knew that Prince had. I knew people were fans.
Right.
But when Dan Rather did did a tribute, and I mean this was a long. I'm going through
Right.
Facebook. Dan Rather, Dan
Mm-hmm.
Rather, but
Right.
also that day the Eiffel Tower,
Yes, turn
um,
purple. Niagara Falls.
Niagara
Oh,
Falls,
I said, oh my God.
somewhere in Chicago. I think it was the Willis Tower, yeah, Sears Tower.
Right.
Um, I mean, all over the country, all over the
Yes.
world.
Yes.
People were like,
Yes.
but like I said, when I saw Dan Rather was mourning, I said, Lord,
You knew Prince had made it. I mean, but the thing about it, a lot of people had said, and this is true, especially guitar players, he was one of the best guitar players on the planet. That boy can just strum anything. And so, when we lost Prince, it was, I mean, just similarly to Michael, but
yeah,
Prince
oh
was, because Prince
God,
just played any and every instrument, and he was just so creative. So, I will say this to you again, to our audience. For those who love music, who love musical artists, please support them, because you really
yeah,
don't know. I was listening before we came on the air, Elton John. I'm hoping I'll get a chance to see Elton John, because once he does this farewell tour, that's it, because he's in his 70s. So, for artists who really want to put a show out for their people, go support them, because
yeah,
you really don't know. Like, life is just not promised. I mean, not
yeah,
just for
yeah,
the artists or musicians, just people that that you care
yeah,
about. Go
yeah,
reach out to them, because one day they're going to be here, next day going to be gone. And you don't want to have that feeling of regret, because regret
and
is
all
something
of
that you
those,
will never get over.
and all of those people that died were surprises, because
Yeah.
I thought that Luther was getting better, because me and my aunt, we were joking that we had our credit cards open, and when Luther came back, we were gonna go see him. I'm not the biggest Prince fan. I saw him once. That was a surprise, because he had just performed a week before
Right.
that. One of my friends, Facebook friends, had seen him. Michael was the same way.
Yeah.
That was a surprise.
Whitney was a
God,
surprise. My goodness.
don't even. And I remember where I was through all of that. So, and here's the thing, and everybody talks about what's the best Super Bowl performance. This last one was good, but Prince singing "Purple Rain" in the rain in high heels
And
and a
Purple Rain
do-rag.
coming down, I was like, oh, we're done.
So that's it. Y'all can talk about Beyonce and all of these people, but Prince was the best. Prince
Yes.
was the best. Do we
So,
have any other hot topics that we want to talk about?
well, the thing about it, what about this Bill Murray thing? Now, Bill Murray, who is,
I
I
don't
think,
know.
originally from Chicago, apparently
Yeah, with
now
Second
he's been
City.
doing, he been under some naughty behavior. Bill is like a
Yeah.
comedic legend. Caddyshack, Groundhog Day, Ghostbusters, you name it. Bill Murray, again from Chicago. He's a diehard Cubs fan, so
Oh
I
yeah,
knew you like
definitely.
him just because of that. Uh, I beg to differ, but anywho. But what is going on with these artists, these actors, just having this inappropriate
Between
behavior?
that
What's up
and
with
that,
that?
I refuse to follow that Johnny Depp thing. I just, there's some things that I'm just not, there's too much going on in the world.
Yes.
And I'm not watching Johnny Depp and his old nasty girlfriend. I'm sorry, because I heard
That
some
was
of the
no,
bits
they
and
were
pieces.
married. They were married. They
Okay, well, whatever. It's just a mess. It's a
hot
mess.
mess.
So, that people can watch, if people want to, because the trial, I guess, is on HLN or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And the stuff that they're saying is just like, really, y'all? Really? It's too much for me. So I'm praying for Ukraine, trying to keep my head above water, as they said in the Good Times theme song, and trying to lose a couple pounds. Some of this stuff is just ridiculous. Some of these people really need to get it together, understand how blessed they are, and keep it
Okay.
rolling,
Okay.
because this is ridiculous. Let's
You ready to get
if you
candid?
go ahead.
You ready to get candid?
Yep.
You
Go
know,
ahead.
it's interesting. When we first started this podcast, it was about initially when Kim approached
Oh
me,
gosh.
let's talk about dating and dating in the pandemic. And I said, okay, I've been very on the down low about that because I had been doing online dating before it became popular. And people who know me, they're like, yep, K Renee she was on the internet. But since the pandemic, been married, been divorced, being a caregiver to my parents before they made their respective transitions, my focus is a little bit different. However, recently, as early as Monday, I shared this with Kim. Kim was like, you gotta be kidding me. Since the pandemic, as you know, I do a lot of Amazon shopping and even Grubhub or DoorDash. So Monday morning, I was actually up very early and I said, you know what? I'm gonna need to get some breakfast. I don't feel like cooking, so I'll place a Grubhub order. Place the Grubhub order. Now, mind you, it was very early because the driver was supposed to arrive at my house around 7:30. So that's early. So he calls like I leave instructions for. So I open the door, he hands me the food. It literally was less than 10-second exchange, y'all. I get this text message from him. Now, mind you, it's coming from Grubhub, y'all. So why would he be texting me? That's the first question, right? But what he had said to me was even more. I'm gonna read it because I don't care. This is, he's like, Karen, do you know how many people get mad and say hurtful things? Well, I don't want to offend you, but you look so interesting and you have the most prettiest toes I've ever seen. Now, ladies, just let me break some down to you. This is 7:30 in the morning. I wasn't like looking like Karen is looking now. Let me put it like that. Hair in a ponytail. Okay, you get the drift. And I said, well, damn. That Boomerang movie, after that scene, I said, I guess, doing the pedicure every month, it helps. But I found the exchange very funny. Now, I have a wonderful godmother, my last godmother. I shared this with her. She said, I don't find this funny because, one, she felt he was harassing me by using company resources, i.e., Grubhub, to text me. Because once he made that text, y'all, I was very, very professional and said, thank you. You have a blessed day. He continues trying to woo me. Then he asked, because it snowed that day in Chicago, Kim. And so there was snow on the ground and, on cars. Then he asked, well, can I take the snow off your car? And I'm like, what car are you talking about? And, typically when I have a delivery order, I always give a landmark of a car that's parked literally right in front of my home, which is my neighbor's car. That's how you're referring to my neighbor's car. Well, I don't have a car. And he was like, well, then the text message, and I really had to, really think and be Hey Renee instead of not being, being the Southside girl that I can be. He was like, he said, may I get the chance to explore you or get acquainted with you? And then I had to shut him down, y'all. I had to say, I appreciate the thoughtfulness, but I'm currently involved. And I am involved with me. But the point of the matter is that One, this man knows where I live because he delivered the order. Two, by asking if I had a car, what could he have done, big sis Kim? Snap that, did a snapshot.
Mhm.
You don't know what could have happened. And sometimes, you know, in the thrill of wanting to date, y'all, we gotta think with this.
Mhm.
You know, I like dating more than the next woman, trust and believe. But at this stage of my life, I'm looking for unconditional loyalty, love, and having a very spiritual sense of self. And unfortunately, with this pandemic, a lot of these men ain't got it. Ain't got it.
Yeah, and being careful. I'm going to do two candidates because there's a couple things that have come up that I want to talk about. Real quick on my dating experience, I'm on a website to look for, dating, and the person contacted me had a face very familiar. The face was so familiar that I know this individual personally, and it's not the individual that was contacting me. It was a choir director that I've worked with, recorded an album with in Chicago. He was using that person's face. And I
Catfish.
said to him, "Why are you using Calvin Bridges's face, who I know personally, for your own face?" So the moral of the story is this: be careful.
Yes.
Be careful, because there are some crazy things. But I want to address something real quick. As many of you know, this thing that's happening in Florida with Disney, DeSantis, governor of Florida, who has signed a bill taking away the rights, the special rights of Disney because of their policy on same gender loving people and accepting same gender loving people. He has also banned 41 math books because of critical race theory that he says is in these math books, which I have seen what he's talking about is absolutely asinine. The other thing that is happening as far as politics, Mark Meadows, who is the minority leader in Congress, who wants to be the Speaker of the House, the New York reporters from the New York Times stated some things that he said about Donald Trump, that Donald Trump should resign, that he's sick of Donald Trump, that some of these things. And then Mark Meadows said, "Well, I didn't say it." And then they produced tapes that he did say it. Let me say all of this to say this: we are not dealing with the subjects on hand that people need help. You all, some of you politicians, are dealing with the fact that there are two people of the same sex who love each other, and you're doing legislation based on that. It is my hope and prayer that Disney takes up Mickey, Donald, and Pluto
Don't forget
and moves
Minnie.
to another state.
Don't forget Minnie.
And Minnie, Daffy and Donald too.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just tell you, if anybody got the money to do it,
Disney
Disney
does.
does.
That's right.
And I will
And
hope,
they
and
should.
let me tell you something. I am a Disney World girl. Been there 5 or 6 times. Wherever, and I'm supposed to go to Florida in October. Bump Florida. I'm not going until y'all get rid of this person who's a Nazi, and as I called him that in Florida. Politicians, stop. You wonder why people don't trust you. Stop all this doggone lying. Deal with issues. People need clothing and health care and housing. And y'all dealing with people saying they're gay. Don't nobody care. Gay people ain't bothering y'all. When is the last time a gay person bothered you for being gay? Never. Gay people ain't, like Charles Blow said, gay people ain't thinking about y'all.
And
They
not,
just
not
want
a
to live
damn.
their lives. They
That's all
paying
they
their
want to do.
taxes. They doing
Right.
what they supposed to do. Leave
That's right.
people alone and deal with the issues that we need to deal
That
with.
we voted you for. How about that? That
Yes,
people voted you for.
Stop taking away our voting rights. You all are splitting us up. If we all came together on something, you all talk about gay people, and you support a president that has had many multiple affairs, where women have said that where he's admitted to groping women. You all support that. But you look down at someone like a Pete Buttigieg, who's married to his husband, who has 2 kids, who I ain't never heard of harassing nobody. Dig that.
And served in our United States Army. How about that?
Amen. But y'all support this person who feels it's okay to grab women by the pussy, who said it on tape. And yes, it was him. We as Americans can be so much further. I know I'm going on and on, but y'all, people need help in this country, and we've got to be about helping people.
Because if we don't learn this lesson, and before we could do the nugget and we're out of here, we're destined to repeat it. The pandemic, there's a reason why it happened. Everything happens for a reason, y'all. Everything happens for a reason. And if you don't believe it, keep living. So before we go, next Saturday, we have a very special guest, but we're not sharing it yet.
Let's share it. Let's share it. Yeah, go ahead.
You go share. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, you all, we are trying to explain this. And thank you to my cousin Ronald, who sent a heart up. We have the actress AJ Sanders, who's going to join us next Saturday. For those of you all who don't know, she is the actress who was on A Different World for a number of years. And we're excited about that. She's in a play right now in California. She is a stand-up comedian, and we're excited about having her. I specifically want to talk to her about the episode I just watched last night that dealt with domestic violence. Yes. I had forgotten all about that episode.
Oh, that's what, to me, I loved her for in that particular episode, because I can relate to that. So no,
she's also one of the few people on this earth that can say that they acted with Tupac. So we want to ask her about that. Of course, we want to ask her about some of the future things that she is doing. But she is, when you think about it, she's history in different worlds. People, I still watch it.
Oh, me too.
And it had a big impact on people entering into going to Black colleges. Debbie Allen talks about how it rose the number of people. It introduced us to a Southern belle. Many of us didn't know that people like Whitley existed. And so that Kadeem Hardison, who, by the way, directed that famous episode, he directed the Tupac episode. He also did the domestic violence. He says that people still come up to him and say they're going to be engineers because of Dwayne Wayne. In that episode. So we're excited about that. Hopefully everything will be working in our favor. But Kay Renee, put a period on this wonderful episode.
Well, today is Saturday, and again, this particular nugget is kind of similar to what we've been talking about during our discussion, our candid conversation with Nycole. Every morning, you have 2 choices. You can continue to sleep with your dreams, or wake up and chase your dreams. The choice is yours, y'all. # your life, your choice.
Your choice, yeah. With that, thank you all for joining us. Manifest what you want in your life. Create the life you want. Your life, your choice. I'm Kim Coleman of Sister Girl Speaks. That's Kay Renee in the purple next to me. We'll see you all next Saturday. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Bye, guys. Happy Saturday.